Hi everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm your host, Justin Archer, aka the Posture Guy, your #1 source on pain, posture, and performance. And today I want to talk about breathing, how it could both help and hurt your posture and ultimately your symptoms. But before we get into exercises and techniques to improve your breathing, we have to have some basis as to what's good breathing and what's bad breathing. So what I want you to do is step back from your desk if you're watching at the desk. If you're standing, good for you. But stand up, and you can pause the video at any time to take your time and do this. But I want you to stand and take a 30% larger than normal breath, okay? Now, what I've found is that, in my experience, working with people with all types of symptoms, the one common denominator that a lot of people share is that when they do this test, it looks something like this, okay? Now, a lot of people look at that and go, well, what's wrong with that? You know, I looked at myself in the mirror and, you know, that's how I looked. Well, the problem is that with the exception of sprinting and really exerting yourself, like running, you know, for your life from like a bear or mountain lion, your chest, your shoulders, and your traps and your neck muscles shouldn't really come into play when you breathe. Ultimately, you should be using your diaphragm muscles. So think about it, if you're having any type of neck pain or shoulder pain, and you're breathing with the neck and shoulder muscles, and the average human takes roughly 22,000 breaths per day, well, that's 22,000 tiny shoulder shrugs you're doing. Well, no wonder you're tight there, right? So, okay, if that's not how you should be breathing, how should you be breathing? And this is something, you know, if you look at probably kids 12 or younger, you'll see. You know, if you're at like a pool party or something, and you see a young child that gets out of the pool and they run, and they come up to you, and they're breathing, you notice their shoulders and chest are completely still. Even though they're, you know, panting out of breath, it's their stomach that's moving. But then go to any gym and, you know, even people as young as 18, in their early 20s and everything, they come off the treadmill and they go to talk to you and they're breathing like that. So we have to kind of learn from, you know, younger siblings or children, if you have them, or your friends, and go back to breathing from the diaphragm. Now, the way you find this is kind of do a Superman or Superwoman pose and put your hands right on top of your pelvic bones. They're easy to find, they're really hard and bony. And then right above there, I want you to put your hands kind of like a little C shape and think about breathing into there, okay? And this also helps if you breathe just with your nose. So shut your mouth and just breathe with your nose. Here we go. Now, I don't know if you can tell from the video there, but you should be able to feel the sides, your sides, expand out into your hands. So basically what you're doing is when you breathe through your diaphragm, it's dropping down and basically creating this pressure, kind of like a piston, and that's where all the extra air and space goes, is out to the sides. So think about breathing east to west rather than north to south, okay? And if you find this is hard to do, don't worry. I found it very difficult the first time I did it, and a lot of people do. And that's for a couple reasons. Some are structural issues that we can change with exercise. Others, we need different techniques. One in particular is self-myofascial release. That's just a $10 fancy word term for we need to break up adhesions in the muscle, in the myofascial, that's keeping your body from operating the way it should be or functioning properly. So you can test this a couple of different ways. My favorite is just take your fingers, go right to your sternum where the rib cage meets, and kind of just palpate in between there. And you don't have to push really hard, but see if you find any sore areas. And this is really good, especially if you're sitting. Let's see if we can show you this. Can you get me in there? Yeah. All right. So this is really good. We can get them here, and then bend forward. And a lot of people, they will find some really gunked up tissue in there, and it'll be quite painful. And what's nice though is if you're doing it to yourself, you can control the intensity of that pain. You're not doing any damage here, but it's just, again, think of like your muscles should be filet mignon, and your muscles have now turned into beef jerky. We got to break that up. So definitely one, hydrate is going to help. But two, get in there, and you can kind of lean forward and break some of that up, okay? So that would probably be the easiest way of doing it. Another way, I'll show you if you follow me in here, is to get a soft ball, either a soft ball larger or literally a soft ball, and take it just on the inside of your rib cage. You can start from the top and work your way down to the bottom, basically like this. And again, I recommend a bigger, softer ball to start with, and then you can work to something like this. So just find it, let me get back here. Find that spot there, and you can roll, but what I find is just kind of contract your stomach for a few seconds, and then relax and just let it sink in. And again, the first couple times you do this will be very uncomfortable. So again, start with a bigger, softer, rounder ball, work to a harder ball like this. And you may not even do this. You may be able to find just to palpate with your hands and get all that gunked up tissue unglued. But spend about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Do not do this if you've had any abdominal strains or hernias recently. Don't do that. The other thing is you can take a free weight or anything with some weight. I just like this, it's easy to use. I think this is 30 pounds. And you can go to the lower abdomen where the hip flexor also kind of ties in too with the diaphragm. So I'll show you how this works. You just basically find it right there. It's right above the pubic bone. And you can actually kind of put this up and down, get in there, and you can actually even rotate the leg in and out. Again, if you've never done this before, it's going to be kind of tender. You can use a lighter weight too. Of course, if you use too light of weight, it's not going to really facilitate any change. So again, do that for about 2 to 3 minutes. And that should really free up your breathing. You can stand up, test that breathing out again. It should be a lot easier. The other thing too that I find why people aren't breathing correctly is there's a direct correlation of how your diaphragm functions with how your shoulders, position-wise, are in with your hips. So how the shoulders relate to the hips. If you kind of think about upstream and downstream, if your diaphragm's in the middle, what's above and what's below needs to be in proper alignment, otherwise the diaphragm can't function properly. So for that, I put together a east-west breathing routine that you can download in the link below. So go check that out, do those exercises, try some of these myofascial release techniques I showed you just now. And if you have any questions, by all means, please leave them in the comment section below, call, email me, and I would love to help out in any way I can. All right? Anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, take care and keep moving.